All right, we're recording. Welcome everybody to our team Zoom tonight. I can't believe it's July already, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see all your faces. I'm excited for the month that we just had in June. It was an incredible month. I'm here to tell you that Tim and I, our organization, closed at a record high. We've been doing this for 8.5 years, and it's probably been about 4 years since I've seen our volume that high. So what it tells me is a lot of you are out there doing the do. You're working, you're doing what you're supposed to do to create that momentum, and I feel it. And I heard Brandon say the other day on the team call that he was kind of worried to put that screenshot of how much Team True Blue in a whole organization grew. I don't know if you saw it, but it was over 120,000, which is unbelievable. And he was kind of worried about putting it out there because not everybody's volume grew. But I'm here to tell you tonight, it's July. It's a brand new month with brand new goals. I don't know about all of you, but I have all my goals written. I've got my calendar filled out for the whole month of July, who I'm calling, who I'm contacting, who I'm following up with. I have daily goals, weekly goals. I have it all set because it's a brand new month. So kudos to you. Congratulations on such a great month in June. Let's get July kicked off the right way. And what does it take? It takes a DMO, daily method of operation. I can remember every job that I've ever had, and I know most of you are still working. Every job, I know your report from certain hours, you get off at a certain hour, and you have to get that job done throughout the day. Treat this when you get home, treat it not like a job, but treat it just like a goal that you had to do the day at work. I remember doing that. I remember teaching all day, tutoring until 6 o'clock. And when I got home, I started in my car. I would get in my car, I'd pick up this phone, and I would contact the people that I had on my list. I treated it, and I had a goal every single day. I'm doing that daily. I don't know if a lot of you have noticed, but I've been on the road a lot. I'm on the road because I want to help you grow your volume and grow your business. And what happens? It grows your paycheck. All of us would not be here on a Tuesday night if we did not want this in our life. So July, have a daily method of operation and set your goals. Tim, did you want to add anything to that? Tim Cox, Pro 8 in the company, him and Sarah, and Tim and I and Sarah talk just about on a daily basis, and he's always just got the right words that I need to hear, that a lot of us need to hear. So I asked him to please chime in tonight and just help us out. Tim, what you got to say?
Hey, Tori, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Yep.
Okay, I think I'm getting a little feedback, so maybe you can mute your line when I talk.
Okay, you got it.
So thanks so much, Tori. I'm happy to be on with all of you guys tonight. I think most of you guys know me, maybe some of you don't. First and foremost, I just want to acknowledge Tori, and I don't think enough people do that for Tori, and a lot of you guys are familiar with how hard Tori works for all of us, and some of you aren't. Some of you hadn't had the chance to work for Tori, but I've been knowing Tori for almost 20 years now. Her nephew is actually it's still my best friend, but was my best friend in high school and through college. So we've been knowing each other for a long time. So our journey started way, way back then. And she was actually the first person that ever introduced Lifevantage to me in 2010. And I was too dumb and too stubborn to take a look. Didn't even want to go to a meeting. I don't want to watch her video. I don't want any of that. All right. I had my own thing going. And so thank you to Tori for reaching out to me, because by the time my sister talked to me, it was like a follow-up already, right? But it's been a crazy journey over the last 7.5 years. I mean, we get so used to seeing people in our industry, when they run into struggles, what do? They tend to go jump to other companies. They look for other things. They look for new products. They look for new opportunities. When a lot of people don't realize that when things aren't going your way, it's not the company, it's not the products that's the problem. The problem is us. We don't need to change our environment. We need to change who we are to do what we have to do within this opportunity. Because when I look at everything that it takes to be a successful network marketing company, I'm here to tell you, they always say, don't go around telling people your company is the best. I can say that here because we're all from the same company, but we have everything we need to take this company to the next level. And so I want to commend all of you guys that are still here, because if you've been in as long as I have, 7.5 years, you've seen some stuff, right? You've seen some challenges. And any of you who have been through that and are still here, I commend you. And this company and this business has been so great for me and my family. I can't even begin to tell you. I met my wife second day in the business. We have 2 kids now. And because of this business, it has given us the opportunity for her. She's been a full-time mom since day 1 with our kids. And that is so special. I got to spend the first 1.5 years with my daughter Soleil every single morning. It was me and her 3 or 4 hours before I did anything, right? Before I started my day. And that is things that are going to impact her life for the rest of her life, that bond that we're building right now. And so those of you who may be struggling right now, I just want to tell you the juice is the squeeze. The juice is worth the squeeze, right? It's sometimes hard. This business is hard. It's challenging. But you know what's hard and what's challenging? Waking up 5 to 10 years from now in the same or worse predicament that you're in right now. There's nothing harder than that. The cold, hard reality of realizing that you didn't do anything to change your future, right? And so that's my wake-up call to you, that yes, we have momentum with this company. Some of you do and some of you don't, but let's pour some gasoline on the fire, because the work that you do over the next couple of years, I'm telling you, it can set your life up in a completely different trajectory, right? And so we had an amazing month last night. Crazy. The last 2 months, our personal group has grown the last couple of months. Like, I keep looking at my volume like, this is nuts. Like, I haven't seen this since 2012, right? And that growth has been incredible. But I want to kind of tell you the important thing about this business. The important thing about this business is focusing on the process. Unfortunately, most of us focus on everything else that we have zero impact on. Maybe indirectly you can have some impact on, but focusing on the things that you can have a direct impact on is having a process mindset. One of the best coaches in all of sports, and it pains me to say this because he's the coach of Alabama football, Nick Saban, he's got a philosophy of process mindset. Focus on your next tackle. Focus on the next play. Focus on the next practice. Don't worry about the score, right? And the reason why he says that is because when you start looking at the results and looking at the score, you take your eyes off of the process and what you can have a direct impact on. And what we used to call that in basketball is scoreboard watching. We knew when we had the other teams on the ropes, when they would look up to the scoreboard, they're breathing heavy, they would look at the scoreboard, they stopped focusing on the process. And I know this is not sports. Maybe some of you get that analogy and some of you don't, but it's the same thing. We have to focus on the process. We don't worry about what our rank is. We don't worry about what our paycheck is. We don't worry about what our volume is. Yes, you can indirectly affect those things, but what you need to focus on in your business are the things that you can have a direct impact on. Who am I going to call today? Who am I going to text today? Who am I going to follow up with today? Which team members am I going to reach out to today to help mentor and guide and maybe lift them up a little bit? Those are the things that you do on a daily basis that has a direct impact on your business. And if you focus on that long enough, one foot in front of the other, all of the rest of the things are going to come. It's going to happen. I watched a story the other day. Somebody who played basketball with Michael Jordan, he said, you know what the craziest thing about Michael Jordan was? When he was in the game, he never knew what the score was. He knew, but he didn't focus on it. If you asked him what the score was, he was so focused. He said, if I would look up at the scoreboard and see that we were winning, I would take my foot off the gas. So I would just focus on what I had to do to keep my foot on the gas. And that's what we have to do with our business. Just keep our foot on the gas. Yes, your volume will grow. Don't celebrate too long. Yes, your paycheck will grow. Don't celebrate too long. Continue to keep your foot on the gas and focus on those income producing activities. What can you have on your impact? What impact can you have in your business every single day? And what can you do to change some lives? And so I know probably added a little.
No, I love that. That's exactly what I wanted you to say. But I want you to elaborate on this for me too, because I've been talking to quite a few people. They are on here, been in for the company for quite a few years. Their volume did not grow, and they were kind of like in a slump, the last couple of weeks, even a month. But what is your thoughts, and I'd love for you to express this, how we should not ever compare ourselves to others, because I find they're comparing. I was very guilty of that. I did that a lot during this journey, but I've learned that Tim and I are where we're supposed to be for a reason, and we had to grow into that rank to be prepared for the next rank. So we try not to compare ourselves to others. What can you add to that?
Yeah, comparison is a thief of joy. We've all heard that that quote right there, but it's so true. What you need to understand about this business is it grows in cycles. You'll have periods where you're growing, and everybody's calling you. They're like, "Come do my team call. What are you doing? You're a genius. Your team is growing." And then it'll plateau. Sometimes it'll go a little backwards, and your phone stops ringing. Nobody wants to hear from you, and then it starts growing in, and it, like, your business will grow like this. It'll grow. And what's happening is you get a whole bunch of people excited. They come in and they start working the business. And then you'll start to lose the people that maybe never really wanted to work it in the first place. And they kind of fall off, but you're left with the people that are truly committed. Then you build more excitement. So it's constantly doing this, right? Sometimes it goes flatline for a little while, but you'll always have those cycles like that. And you can't compare your journey to anybody else, because if somebody was growing this month and you're saying, well, my business didn't grow, well, guess what? That person probably didn't grow for the last 2 years while he watched somebody else grow for those last 2 years. And so you can't compare where you are with anybody else. I know it is discouraging sometimes when you see other people growing. We've grown the last few months, but we had a few years where we did not grow, and it was not fun. But all we could focus on is the things that we had a direct impact on. And our team just continued to work and continue to focus on those daily activities, even when the business was not growing. And typically when you work really hard in your business, there's a lag period of 60 to 90 days where you start to see the impact of the work that you're doing. So just continue to focus on what you're doing. Trust me, eventually some things are going to start to turn. You're going to start to get momentum. And one day people are going to be asking you, what are you doing? How are you growing so much? Right? So just don't compare yourself to other people.
Love that. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate it. All right. So I want to move on to Elite Academy in Kansas. And I put together a little PowerPoint that I do want to share. So hold on one second. Because I'm so visual, that's just who I am. And here it is. So let me move this. I hope all of you are registered for Elite Academy. We have till July 16th for a $169 price. And I have been seeing quite a few people posting they're trying to sell their tickets. So pay attention to Team True Blue official Lifevantage page. There's tickets out there. But it's our 10-year anniversary. I can't believe 10 years. And we have a party. There's actually going to be a party Friday night. And I'm going to show you the schedule in a minute. But the schedule is actually in our back office. It's under events. Take a look at it so that you can plan out your whole Elite Academy. But y'all, I have been hearing how exciting this is going to be. We have some amazing guest speakers. I don't know about you, but I'm super excited to hear Erin Brockovich. She's just so inspiring. I watched her movie years ago. In fact, I want to recap and watch it again. I've read all about her. She's got a huge, huge presentation for us. We've got an amazing host. I don't know if you remember this guy, Jason Hewlett. Some of you might remember him looking like this. Do you remember that? Tim, you remember this? This guy is so funny. He's actually going to be our host for the whole entire event. So you know it's going to be fun, and it's going to be filled with so much excitement. But here's your schedule right here. And look, it shows the 10-year celebration party from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock on Friday night. And our general sessions start early again, 9 a.m. They end at around 6 p.m. on both days. And we do have a Team True Blue social/party on Saturday night that we're planning. And it's just our opportunity to go to Elite Academy and to build our belief in our products, our company, but more importantly, in what we have our hands on. I can remember my first Elite Academy. I remember Sonny and Chad Belanger, who personally enrolled Tim and I, telling us, you got to go to this Elite Academy. It happened to be a convention. It was January 2011. I didn't even have the money to enroll in Lifevantage. Needless to say, I didn't have the money to get to Elite Academy. But we did it. We figured it out. Got there, and I wasn't happy to be there. I had tests to grade. I had 2 teenagers at home. I was missing a couple of days of school. I had lesson plans to do. I just didn't know what I was walking into. I sat down, and when I tell you that event changed everything in my life and in Tim's. I remember sitting there listening to corporate, but I learned so much about what we had our hands on. I got really excited listening to the stories of the distributors, but one person changed everything for me when she got on stage, and that's what happens. Somebody's story, somebody is going to affect you, going to set you on fire. You're going to come back, and people will feel it and see it within you. So I hope everybody's registered. Tim, did you want to add anything about Elite Academy?
Yeah, I joined April 5th of 2012, and I don't know if you remember what was that month. It was the second global convention of the history of the company, and I too barely had enough money to enroll in the business. And they're like, "Okay, all right, get ready. You got to buy a flight to go to Anaheim." And I don't know if you guys know, from Louisiana, on a 2.5 week notice, a flight to California typically isn't the cheapest price, right? So, but I did it because they said, this is what you need to do to be successful. You're going to meet a bunch of people. And I kind of wanted to just go and just to see what it was all about. And it completely changed everything for me, like completely changed my perspective. Some of my best friends in the company today, I met at their very first event. We still stay connected. And like Tori said, sometimes you hear the thing that you need to hear. Sometimes you meet the person that you need to meet. Sometimes one person that you run into in the hallway, you strike a friendship, you help each other out in business, and that becomes your running buddy. These are the types of things that happen at these events. And I understand, trust me, I get it. I have 2 kids. Life is expensive. It's not always easy to make it to these events. And that's why I say, if you're going to spend the money to go, make sure that you're maximizing your time there and getting as much as you can out of that event. That way you can take that stuff home, everything you learn, every person that you meet, you can take it home and apply it to your business for the next 90 days until the next event.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, let's get into what we heard yesterday. And that is Elite Academy, February 2020 in Cancun. So this is just some of the highlights here. I will tell you this, that we're having a live tomorrow, which will explain so much more to us. And I'm not sure the details, Tim. Is it corporate actually doing it, or is it Fred?
Probably corporate.
I think it is corporate. Yeah, and as soon as we have those details, we'll make sure all of you have it, but pay attention to the Lifevantage page, just like you saw the last live with Justin and the sales team. But I'm really excited about this, but I want to explain to you what's going to start happening. This year, we have July Elite Academy in Kansas City. Then we have our convention, October in Long Beach, California. 2020, we're going to have this incentive / Elite Academy in Cancun, Mexico. Then we're going to have convention again in October. But in between that, corporate is getting together with some of your top distributors, and they're going to start doing regionals. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to have specific locations, and I'm just saying this. I'm just going to pick, let's say they do it in Atlanta. It'll be in Atlanta. Corporate will come there. It'll be like a mini Elite Academy. And we'll just drive there and go to Atlanta, all come together. I am not sure the dates. I am not sure the locations. My guess is they're going to tell us a whole lot more details in Kansas City for Elite Academy. So you'll have 2 events plus 1 regional. So actually 3 events starting in 2020 that I'm super excited about. So I asked him if he could give us his thoughts and a little bit of the breakdown on the Elite Academy in Cancun. So Tim, take it away, and I'll come back.
Thanks, Tori. Really, at first, whenever I saw this, because of the timing and because we have this event in Long Beach and then this event in February, at first it's like the money, and I'm sure some of you saw it and you're like, whoa, this is a lot to squeeze there. And I just want to say that this is kind of like the first run. And I was talking to Brandon about this yesterday. He said, they'll know from this event how to adjust it for the next year. But the good thing about the next year, you'll have more time to plan financially for it and more time to strategize on how to do it. But the great thing about it is if you've never been on an incentive trip from Lifevantage, you get to experience what it's like to go on one of these trips, even if you have to come out of pocket a little bit. But the great thing about it is you get to go to the event, but you have the opportunity to win back money to cover the whole trip, right? And unlike previous incentives, there's tiers to this. Whereas before it was kind of like you either won it or you didn't. You're either going or you're not. But I love the fact that you can hit different tiers and they'll give you money to win your trip back. And they pay out as soon as you hit that tier, they're going to pay you in the next pay cycle. So as you start to hit those tiers, the company is going to add that much money to your commission check. So if you really start to get to work and really start to help people on your team, you can start getting that money to pay for the trip. Now, if you sign up for the trip, it's committing to $1,900 for double occupancy. But I would say make this a fun thing. Put 4 people into a room. It's going to be $1,900 for 2, and then I think $550, Tori, right, for the other 2 people. And so if you're having trouble with thinking about paying 4 months of $500 because you split it up into 4 months, if you find 3 other people, or if you're a couple, which is what Sarah and I are going to do, we're going to find another couple, and we're going to split those monthly payments, right? You make an agreement with each other, just split those monthly payments for the next 4 months. And then at the end, you'll have the extra payments that you have to make for the 2 extra people, and you can split that too. So it's just strategizing on how to make this happen. But this is a great opportunity. Like when sometimes you see this, you're like, oh man, what if I pay the money and I don't get any of the tiers, I don't get any money back. This is a great opportunity to put you in a position to almost force you to level up, to force you to say, you know what, I pay this money, you know what, I'm not going for that money, I'm going for free. And I have the opportunity to win this trip for free. And the great thing is next year we don't have that extra major event. So even if you did come out of pocket, you're still going to pay less for next month's events than you would if we had 3 full events that you had to pay for that you didn't even have the opportunity to win any of the money back, right? So this will be a test run, right? We've never had anything like this before. So I would say don't miss the first one that they ever do. You can always go back and say, I went to the first incentive/elite academy that the company ever had. And sometimes it's easy to look at the cadence of the events and changing this and that. And it's easy to feel like, what's going on with this company. But the beauty of being in a company this early where you're still pioneering is we're not a well-oiled machine. If this is a 40-year-old company, they would have everything figured out. It would be on like clockwork. But the fact that you're here in a company that's still kind of working those kinks out and you have the opportunity to help have an impact on those things, like embrace that. Like I love the fact that I can say I was at the second global convention that the company ever had, right? And the fact that you can go to these events and build relationships with the CEO of the company, the vice president of sales of the company, and all these guys will be hanging out at the pool, you have the opportunity to get up close and personal with these guys that you wouldn't get anywhere else. Don't pass on this opportunity. And so if this stresses you out, get with your upline or get with your leader, sit down, have them explain this to you, break it down, and formulate a plan on how you can make this happen, right? You've got it in you, and I know you want to be there. This is your time to shine. There's never been more money on the table in commissions for you in different incentives that they have right now. And so now is your opportunity to level up. I promise you, if you do what you have to do to get this trip for free, your business will explode in 2020, right? So this is the jump off point for a lot of people. Run as hard as you can, win the trip, explode your business in 2020, and really change the trajectory of your life for like, when I think about where my life has gone because of Lifevantage. And I was thinking the other day, I'm like trying to do some math in my head, and like Sarah and I's business probably coming up on $10 million in lifetime sales, right? Inching pretty closer to 10 million in sales. I'm like, what that means for me is that the company's paying out 45-ish%. That means over $4 million in commissions has been paid out to families because we said yes, and because the husband says yes, and Denise and Debbie said yes, and everybody in Canada said, like, these people continue to say yes, and it continues to have an impact. That ripple effect of us building a business like this has an impact that we don't even know how far that ripple is going to go. So I love it. My previous life was construction, and I hated it. And so the fact that I can do something now to have that impact on people, like, it's a win-win for me.
You just got me super, super excited. When you put it like that, all the families, just because Sonny and Chad said yes, we said yes, y'all said yes, look at all the families that we've changed. We just got a whole bunch of families still out there that we have to go share this with and change their life.
Yep.
Great job, Tim. I love that. I'm super excited. I do want to add to what he was saying. I've already sat down and strategized Cancun and the points. I do have to tell you, because I love a challenge. So I have tried for every incentive trip. Bahamas, Mexico, Ireland, every single one. Some we've won, some we haven't. But I know I'm giving my best effort every single time. And I looked at the tiers. I looked at these points. This is the most generous that I have seen throughout all the incentives. So there's no reason why every single one of us can get some of those tiers, if not all, and go on this free trip. What if it even pays half your trip? Really? And what they're doing is they're going to pay us with our commission check. As we win the tier, we're going to get paid back. So let's say you have to put this on your credit card. As you win the money, the incentive, pay that credit card off. Okay? I've sat down, I strategized exactly what we need for each tier. So I'm super excited. I don't know about all of you, but July is kicked off. It is going to be an incredible month with Elite Academy. So Glenn, I know you're excited. Glenn, would you share with us what you just said and some of these texts we have going, please? Why are you coming back? You got to unmute. Unmute yourself. Got it? Let me see if I can find you. I'm going to look for you. You just have to unmute. I tell you what, while we're waiting on Glenn, Cheryl Ray, I know you wanted to add something.
I think I got it.
You got it. Go ahead, Glenn.
Okay.
Tell us what you're excited about.
As I was telling you earlier, Tori, I've been kind of out of it for a while. I've been putting in a lot of hours at work, but I've just used that as an excuse. I haven't been applying myself. And if you remember, many months ago, I felt like I was kind of stagnant at a certain level. And I said, okay, I'm going to get to this level in an X amount of time. And I did that. So I know it can be done. And starting today, starting in July, I'm going to kick this thing off again. I'm very excited about doing this.
So excited too. And hey, listen, I told you in our text, let's make this happen. So thank you, Glenn.
You're welcome.
And here's your golden opportunity to go to Cancun for free. Get started now and let's build this, like all of us. Cheryl Ray, you want to add something?
Hey everyone. So I'm going to tell you, we had this event last weekend in Mobile. And I swear it was like an LVA to me, but it was so intimate, like it used to be. I've been in the business almost 7 years. And we used to go to Elite Academy. We knew the name of every single Elite distributor. We got to shake hands with all of corporate and speak with them after each evening. And we've lost that because the company has grown so much. And I love what they're doing now, where they're going to have these destination events. Instead of us all flying around 4 times a year, we'll be able to drive to an event, and it'll be that intimate setting again where we could all get to know each other. So I'm going to tell you, that's what I'm excited about. Of course, the incentive trip is exciting. I've been to Cancun twice in my younger days, so I can't wait to see what it's going to be like at my age now. I'm sure there's different games to play, but But anyway, guys, this is the time. And if you're not registered for Kansas City, I promise you, you're going to be sorry. You're going to miss out. It's going to be fabulous.
Thanks, Cheryl Ray. Yeah, that event this past Saturday was really, really good. And we're going to get back to that. We're going to start having monthly gatherings where we come together as a team. So pay attention to your group Facebooks, pay attention to Team True Blue, to all of this, because we're going to put it out there and keep you updated. And just stay plugged in, like I said. So I don't know if you heard, but Fred Graves let us know that Lifevantage was just uplifted to the Russell 3000. I did a little homework on that because I wasn't quite sure. It is all stock, but y'all, this is a big deal. This company is growing. This company is exciting. So I hope you're just as excited as all of us. So I want to thank everybody for joining us. I'm going to let Tim close it out. But I do have this recorded, and I will get it out to you. Let's continue to make July an explosive month. We had June, which was great. Let's get July kicked off. And listen, we're here to help you and support you. So, Tim, I'm going to let you close it, buddy. Thank you so much for your guidance, for your leadership. Thank you for all that you and Sarah do. And, you know, we all look up to y'all because I think you are setting an example for so many people right now. So, Tim, thank you so much. We're proud to have all of you on our team. So I'm going to let you close it.
Thank you. Well, thank you everybody for hopping on. I know getting on these things, it's always, you know, it's especially, I can hear my kids yelling over there. Like, we have things happening right now. I'm glad they let me do this thing, but I wanted to acknowledge somebody. I don't know if she's watching right now or not. There's a distributor on our team, Sandy Charlet. She actually hit the influencer program, and she's been on fire lately. And you know, I saw Glenn speak up and talked about how he kind of took a step back. And Sandy was in the business years ago. I don't know, maybe 4 years ago or something. And she came out the gates, hit a couple ranks, and then life got in the way. She took care of some things she had to take care of, took some time off from the business, and then decided one day that she was ready to give it a go. And, you know, aside from a couple other distributors, like, she was almost starting from scratch. And she clawed her way. She went to that, what event was that? Charleston. And we did it old school. We were piled in a room. We had a bunch of us in this tiny room. We road tripped there. It was like old school experience of the event, but something clicked in that event, and she came home on fire. And she basically started back in the business at the beginning of the influencer program. And over the last few months, she's crushed it. She hit the influencer program. She's knocking on the door at Pro 4. And I say that to encourage you that sometimes you take some time off and you feel like you talk to all your friends, you feel like you burn through your database, and that's enough to keep us from getting back into the game because we feel like we're too late. We are not too late. We are just getting started in this opportunity. I have really good friends in the industry that have joined companies that have been around for decades, and they're hitting new ranks. So how can it be too late with a company that is just opening these countries, that's just about to hit the 10-year anniversary? We're just hitting our stride. We are just starting to get momentum at the company. And it's just a matter of taking this company with all the excitement, with all the momentum, and matching it with our own personal effort, our own personal momentum. We get the personal momentum, we get the team momentum, you match it with the company momentum, and magic happens, right? You compress the time at which your paycheck can grow. You can compress the time at which you can rank in the company. And this is going to be the golden years over the next couple of years in Lifevantage. Take advantage of this. Don't let it pass you by, but don't let it stress you out. Have fun. Enjoy the process. Reach out to your support system when you feel down. Keep your energy high. Keep your posture high. Share this message with the world. We are literally changing the world one person at a time, from a health standpoint, from a business standpoint, from a time freedom standpoint. Let's go out there and crush it. So thank you, Tori, for having me, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate you. Everybody have a great night. Let's go crush it.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.